Good morning, friends here. Debbie Lichter with Freedom Embodied Academy and Free from Food Addiction. And I'm super excited to be here with you today. So if you are in the United States, then we just celebrated Independence Day. We just celebrated the 4th of July yesterday. And as I was feeling into this day of independence and this day of freedom, really, I was like, we can do fireworks and we can talk about being free, but what does it actually take to be free? And particularly when it comes to addictions and food addiction, what does it actually take to be free from food addiction, and what to not do? What's actually keeping us stuck? What's keeping us in bondage? And so today, if you tune in today, we are going to be getting into what it really, really takes to be free. I'm going to be going over 5 things that you need to do to get on the path of freedom. And I'm also going to talk about what not to do, which I think we'll probably start with. Though actually today, let's start with what it actually means to be free. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments what freedom really is for you. So, when I consider being free from any addiction, but particularly around food addiction, it's actually not obsessing. It's not trying to be good or stick to a plan or stick to a diet. It's actually that the problem has been removed. You're not obsessing about that stuff anymore. You're just actually living your life. And when it comes to food, when you're hungry, you eat. And when you're not hungry, you're not thinking about food. You're going on and you're doing all the other incredible things that you're here to do. You're able to be present with other people. Your mind isn't constantly wandering to what should I eat? What can I have? What can't I have? What are they seeing me eat? What should I be eating tomorrow? What should I eat now that I just had that? Or what shouldn't I eat? I mean, it's just this insane thing. And so having freedom is just being able to be comfortable being you. It's that feeling of being lighter inside. It's that feeling of I'm okay and I'm gonna be okay no matter what. That is free. That is freedom. That is absolute freedom, and freedom from any addiction. And so let's dive into specifically what not to do. What will actually keep you in bondage, what will keep you stuck, what will prevent you from ever getting free. And that is this. It's actually the number one thing. The 5 things, the number one thing, but it's a thing to stop doing. And that is this: stop trying to get things under control. Stop trying to get in control. Stop trying to control things. Stop trying to control your food. Stop trying to control your life. Stop doing all that stuff. Stop it. Here's the thing, is that when we are trying to gain control, we're trying to get a sense of control, our world becomes very rigid. We have lots of rules. Things need to be a certain way. We need everyone to kind of do things, or we need our world to look a certain way. We need to show up a certain way. It's this very black or white thinking, this very all or nothing, good or bad, and what this stuff does is it creates a prison for us. It creates an absolute prison for us. It is such a state of bondage when we are trying to be in control. And why do we try to be in control in the first place? Because we have a fear of being out of control, right? We have this fear of being out of control. And if I'm not trying to be in control, then everything's just gonna go, the bottom's gonna fall out, everything's gonna go haywire, and I'm never, ever going to recover. That's what we fear, right? We fear that everything's gonna fall apart. And so we assume that the opposite of control is this out of control state. We don't want to be out of control. And so we're I've got to get things under control. The problem is that as long as we are trying to gain control, we're actually blocking our ability to be free. Control will get you 80% of the way there, but then it will actually block you from ever getting free. So if you truly, truly want to be free, then you've got to kick this control thing to the curb. And I know that is challenging. I know that. I am a recovered control freak. And most of the people that I work with are definitely controlling in their own way. And so this is the stuff that we have to learn how to uncouple from. It's not just going to happen overnight. This is stuff that I guide people through. But this is the first thing that really, really needs to happen. So if you are, some of the telltale signs that you are trying to be in control are like, if you say, well, I'm doing really good with my diet right now. I'm doing really, really good. I've got this kind of stuff. I'm just moderating on these things. I'm just not having it in the house. I'm sticking to this plan right now. It seems to be going pretty well. Like if you notice yourself saying those kinds of things or thinking those kinds of things, then that's a sign that you are trying to control stuff. And as most of us have experienced in the past, that is going to maybe last a few days or a few weeks, and then a day or a time is going to come. Hey Ian, hey Sonia, a day or a time is going to come and that strategy is not going to work anymore. It's just not going to work anymore. It is not powerful enough. Control is not powerful enough. And so just a little tip here is that we need to understand something, is that the opposite of control is not out of control. The opposite of control is actually trust. It's trust. And I know that trust can be really, really scary if you have, a lot of self-doubt because you've made so many promises to yourself that you haven't been able to keep, and you don't trust yourself to make healthy choices. And so this is why it's so important to learn how to take those little tiny baby steps. And I can promise you, and we'll talk more about this in just a minute, I can promise you that whatever thing you think you're supposed to do, like when you're like, I know what to do, I just don't do it, I guarantee you that whatever you think you're supposed to do is actually not what you're supposed to do. It's actually not. It's actually not going to help you. So again, the very first thing that you want to do is you want to stop trying to get in control. And you might be like, Deb, so what do I do? I don't know how else to do life but without trying to get it in control. Well, listen to some of these other tips. Listen to these other 4 things and do one of those, because that's what you want to do instead, okay? So number two, and if you relate to number 1, if you relate to the control thing, then just say control or control freak in the comments, just so I kind of know that you get it. You kind of are calling yourself out. And there's something really powerful about calling yourself out on that too, because it kind of separates you from the actual behavior, where you realize that you don't have to do it that way. That's just like a way, a pattern, a condition, a program that you've been running. And as soon as you realize that it's a pattern or a condition or a program that you've been running, it becomes possible. You create space. It becomes possible, like, oh, maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a different program that I can run. Maybe I can like upgrade. Maybe I can have an operating system upgrade, which you can. You absolutely can. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is all about mindset. Okay, so here is the thing. I was thinking about this and I can't even tell you why this occurred to me. Like all of a sudden, this is like a throwback to Hebrew school, okay, from like years ago. And I was not particularly good Hebrew school student, but I remember the story of the Exodus, like the supposed story of the Exodus, whether it's an analogy or, a bedtime story or history. I'm not getting into any of that today. Hey, Pam, I'm so glad that you're here. But I'm thinking about this story, the Exodus of the Jews from Egypt, right? And this idea that the Jews were in the desert, lost for 40 years. They were lost for 40 years. And there was this promise of going to the promised land, but they were they were lost in the desert 40 years. Why were they there? What were they doing? Well, the whole thing is that they were coming out of this enslavement. They were coming out of this slave mentality. And the story goes that the entire generation that was stuck in that slave mentality had to die off, because they were stuck in, we're doomed. It's not possible, not willing. We're not going to get any help. We're going to have to figure everything out on our own. They were full of fear. They were confined to everything that they already knew, and they stayed stuck. And I think this is such an incredible analogy and such an incredible metaphor for us in our journey of freedom. And when we're really, truly wanting to be free, like what does that truly, truly take? And it really requires this shift in mindset. We have to go from a mindset of being in bondage to a mindset of actually the possibility of being free. And so what I want to talk about are some of the mindset shifts that are going to help you. And I want to, as I share this, and I'm probably going to do this a few times throughout today's video, because I'm just like, I want to give some massive props to the women who are in the Freedom Embodied Academy, the women who have been in the Academy for the last 6 months, the women who are just starting in this week, because they are demonstrating all the stuff that I'm talking to you about today. They're demonstrating, and this is, it's like embodying all of these things. It's so incredible. And so what I am seeing is this incredible ability to step into a new mindset. And the mindset is this, that it actually is possible to be free, that it is possible. And what makes that mindset shift, what makes us go from it's not possible to it is possible, is realizing that we thought it was not possible because we were using the same strategies, the same tools, the same ideas. We were trying to apply the same thing. We were trying to use the same consciousness that was struggling with the problem. We were trying to use all of that same stuff to try and have a new experience, and it wasn't working. And so we had an insufficient solution, an insufficient strategy, and instead of realizing that we had an insufficient solution and strategy, we assumed that we were insufficient or inadequate in some way. And so we're like, it's not possible for me. It's not possible for me, and it's not going to work for me. And what I've seen, what I've witnessed. Yes, you are living it, sister. You are living free. This woman, Pam, who is on the video right now, she's been with us for 6 months, and this woman is like living like a joyful, free child who is infinitely abundant, who is so tapped in and connected to nature, who is being so authentically herself, who is feeling lighter, who is living free. Sister, you are like the poster child for what is possible. And we've got a whole nother 6 months to play together and to go even deeper. So it's so cool. This is what that is what is possible. That is what is possible. If you're sitting there right now going, it's not possible for me, connect with Pam, because she will tell you that it is possible, because it really, really is. And as another part of that goes along with this being possible and shifting your mindset is around a willingness. And this is so big, because there's a tremendous amount of willingness that we need. And when we have a lack of willingness, I once a month I do these live workshops in San Diego, and I call them Freedom Talks. And it's incredible. It's a free offering that I put out into the community for any woman who is just struggling with an addiction or obsession or self-sabotaging pattern, who wants to come connect with other women and to actually get some tools that she can go out and implement in her life right away. And it's incredible to me that sometimes when I'm speaking with people and I'm inviting them to this, and it's in North County, San Diego, sometimes I'll get, oh yeah, that's in North County and I live in South County, and that's just too much of a drive for me. I'm just not going to go. But like 2 minutes earlier, they're like, I really got to get some freedom. I'm really struggling in my addictions. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing, is that we have to really call ourselves out here. We're willing to get honest and really acknowledge, hey, I really got to get free of this stuff. But then we've got to call ourselves out if we're not willing to take any action, or if we're not willing to take that extra step, or literally or figuratively go that extra mile to access the support or the solution or the community or the tools or the resources. We've really got to check ourselves on that. And so this is all a part of having a mindset that is free. And the last part about having a mindset that is free versus a mindset that is in bondage is that a mindset in bondage is confined to what you know or what you think you know, right? How you think it is. It's confined to, what you can see right in front of you. It's confined to the conditions that you're experiencing right now. And so what it does is it creates a prison of your own mind. And what freedom does is it opens your mind to the possibility. So when you just step into the thinking of it's possible, and you open your mind to things that lie outside of your reason, that lie outside of what you currently know, to lie outside of your knowledge, and you're willing to expand and explore and receive resources and opportunities and information and inspiration that lies outside of what you currently know, you open yourself up to the infinite. You open yourself up to infinite possibility. And these are all of the mindset shifts that put you on a path of freedom. So that is number 2. Number 1 is get out of control. Stop trying to be in control. That is not a free hall pass to just be out of control and be hedonistic. That's not what we're talking about. But we are talking about really checking yourself and learning how to uncouple from needing to have everything under control. Number 2 is really, really checking your mindset here. Number 3 is, and this is so big, and Pam and all the beautiful people who are in the Freedom Embodied Academy, this is what I acknowledge you so much for, and that is this piece, is taking aligned action, even if it makes you uncomfortable. This has been the biggest thing that I have witnessed, that I am blown away, I am humbled by the extent to which I see women showing up and taking action and saying, I am so scared to be here. I am so scared that you're all judging me. I'm so scared of me, the one person who doesn't get this. I am so scared to think of not being in control. I'm so scared to not do it the way that I've been doing it before, to lean into trust. I'm so scared, and yet they're showing up and they're doing it anyway. Hey, Rose, I'm so glad that you're here. Like this, it blows my mind. This is the attitude that this is like a game changer. I'm not talking about freedom from food addiction or freedom from other addictions. I'm talking about a game changer in your life. If you want to have your own business, if you want to shine your light and help more people, if you want to put yourself out there, if you want to do anything, all of those things that lie outside of your current realm of familiarity and safety are going to be uncomfortable. If you want to be in a relationship and you're not in a relationship now, or you want to be in a new relationship, or you want new friends, right? Or you want to live your purpose, all of these things live outside of, I know we always say outside of our comfort zone, but it is not comfortable when you are living in the confines of your own little prison of what is safe and familiar. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. Sometimes it's easier sometimes, but then it feels super uncomfortable, right? So here's the thing, we're already uncomfortable inside, but we're uncomfortable because we're living incongruently. And so when you take that aligned, bold action, you start to live congruently, I promise you, you are going to have that discomfort. But here's the thing, it is the short-term discomfort for the long-term ease and comfort. See, addiction wants to do the opposite. Addiction wants to say, I don't ever want to be uncomfortable. And I know this one. Oh my gosh, I know this one. This was like my whole life. This was my whole life. Never wanted to be uncomfortable. So I would rather trade off, right, the short-term comfort for the long-term discomfort. And I was constantly treating and retreating that short-term discomfort with comfort. Right? I just wanted to have a sense of ease and comfort all the time. I didn't want to be threatened. I didn't want to be confronted. And so that had me acting so inauthentically. It had me people-pleasing. It had me overgiving. It had me being a perfectionist. Had me constantly trying to prove myself, being a workaholic, stuffing my feelings, right? Not speaking up, walking around, people thinking that I was smiling and positive and friendly and confident, and inside feeling like such a fraud, having no confidence, having such low self-worth, couldn't stop obsessing and thinking about myself, couldn't stop, just like obsessing about food, and, it was really, really hard to be present. These are all the things that were going on, and this was me trying to constantly treat that short-term, treat that discomfort with that short-term comfort. And so if you are willing to have the courage to say, all right, if I'm going to feel uncomfortable, it's because I am going to be taking aligned, congruent action I promise you that when you do that, something shifts, something catalyzes, something catapults you into freedom. You don't have to wait till like, okay, a year from now I'll be free, or 6 months from now I'll be free. You don't have to wait for any of that. When you start stepping through those little places of discomfort inside of yourself and you start taking that empowered aligned action, I promise you, you will already experience an access point of freedom on the other side. You will, because when you are willing to do things, and I know I've said this a lot of times, but I'm going to say it again, because I probably haven't said it in a while, is that when you do something, not just for the outcome, right? Not just because I'm going to do this so that you all like me. I'm going to do this so that I look better. I'm going to do this so that I'm perfect. When you do something because there is a deeper truth inside of you that is calling you forward to take that action, and it makes you uncomfortable. And so you're like, I don't know what's on the other side, but I know I need to take this step right now. It's doing it not for the outcome, but doing for who you get to become on the other side of taking that action. And I promise you, when you do that, you expand into a more authentic, more lighter, freer version of you. Something shifts, something catalyzes in that moment, and you experience a new version of you. It's like you take that saboteur archetype and you say, bye-bye, I'm going to move through this anyway. I'm not going to let you overrule me. I'm not going to let you victim archetype. I'm not going to let you overrule me right now. I'm taking this action right now. I love you. I love that you're trying to keep me safe. Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and do this because this is in alignment with who I'm truly here to be and what I truly, truly want. It's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. So, Tara, I'm so glad that you're here. Yes, totally, Pam. People pleasing and living in self-reliance. Absolutely, 100%. That is so much what happens when we are trying to treat that discomfort with that short-term comfort, and we trade off for that long-term discomfort. Okay, so that is number 3. If you were tuning in right now, we are talking about 5 things that you need to do to actually have real freedom, to actually have real freedom. And so let's go into number 4. So number 4, we kind of alluded to it earlier, but I want to go deeper into it right now. Number 4 is about getting new tools and new strategies. Listen, everything that you already know brought you to where you already are right now. And that might not be a super bad place. Maybe there's some stuff that's really going well for you. In fact, I probably guarantee that there are many things that you have in your life to be grateful for, and that a lot of stuff in your life is pretty good. And if we want to go further, then we can't use the same strategies and tools and attitudes and beliefs and things that brought us to where we are, because where we are right now is a perfect match for everything that we know and everything that lives within our own current realm of understanding, within our current paradigm. And so if we want to catapult into a new paradigm, which P.S. by the way, freedom lives in a different paradigm from what you're living in right now. And so if you want to catapult into that paradigm, then it's going to require some new tools and some new strategies. And I want to give you an example. And Tara knows this. She was on the call on Wednesday. So in the academy, we're just getting started right now. Which, P.S. by the way, if you still want to be a part of it, you still might be able to hop in. We've just gotten started, but you might be able to hop in. If you want to do that, then just grab a spot on my calendar. Let's talk about it. We might be able to squeeze you in. Just head to getsupport.today and we can talk about it and see if it's the right fit for you. But so we had this call on Wednesday. And one of the things that I was telling the ladies, and this is just such a good example of like all the tools and strategies that we know brought us to where we are, okay? So if you are used to, when you're trying to like start a new plan and, figure out your food or get your addiction under control or whatever it is, and you're like, all right, I'm going to do this. And you go all in, right? You go all in and you're like, I'm going to, so let's just give food, for example. I'm going to have a green smoothie every day, and I'm going to eat clean, and I'm going to cut out this food group, and I'm going to, exercise, and I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to do it all perfectly, and I'm going to cross every T, and I'm going to dot every I, and I'm going to show up, and, and we have like all these ideas. I'm going to do a pantry cleanse, and I'm going to go to the store, and I'm going to cut out sugar, and I'm going to write down all my food, and I'm going to get up every single morning. I'm going to meditate, right? Can you relate to any of that? Anyone relate to that stuff? You're like, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to do this. Okay, Whew, gosh, that was exhausting just saying. Don't you get exhausted thinking that that's all the stuff you have to do? And so what I said to the ladies was, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and invite you to check your good student at the door. Like, this is not about getting it perfect. This is not about doing it right. In fact, you're going to have that first little like speed bump where you're like, I'm doing everything perfectly and I'm figuring it out and I've got it and I'm gonna make it to freedom, and when am I gonna get there? And it's like all this stuff. It's kind of like the mentality of joining the gym. Okay, you probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm gonna say it again because it's such a perfect analogy. It's like January 1st, right? You're joining that gym, you get to the gym, you're like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna get up every single morning, I'm looking at the class list, I'm gonna go to all these classes, like about 6 classes I'm gonna go to a week, I'm gonna get up at 5 in the morning, and we get so motivated. And then like by like a week later or 2 weeks later, like we can't even find the fob to get into the gym. It's like something's shifted, something came up, we got sick, work got busy, your mom needed you, whatever it was, and all of a sudden it's like you've just lost all that momentum. And then it's like, oh my God, this always happens to me. I was so excited. Why? This isn't possible. And we go back into all that stuff. And this is because we're applying that same strategy of I'm going all in, I'm going to do it perfect. Right? I'm going to cut out all the wrong foods. I'm going to eat all the right foods. I'm going to be good. I'm going to not be wrong. I'm going to be perfect. This is not going to work. This is just one small example. What I am teaching the ladies right now in the academy, I'll share with you. There's actually a different way of being that doesn't require us to be in control, that doesn't require us to have to get it perfect, that doesn't even require us to have to figure out or fix our food right now, or manage or control the addiction or whatever it's doing. In fact, it's like none of those things, all those things will keep you stuck, and none of those things are actually what you need to do to be free. And so, I share that. Love you so much, Pam. And so I share that because this is the stuff that is so, so important. When you are actually getting on a path of real freedom, I'm just being super frank with you. There's a lot of stuff that you probably think that path of freedom requires, and you're like, I'm not willing to do that. And I'm going to say, that's not even what the path of freedom requires. Why don't you learn what it actually requires? And then you can be in a conversation of like, oh, okay. And it's not about me just going, it's just about a little baby step. Yeah, it's just about a little baby step. Oh, okay, I can do that. Okay, well, cool. Well, then let's get you on that path. And so that brings me to number 5, which is like, well, they're all super important, but this is like great, big, huge important, which is being willing to ask for help. Be willing to ask for help. Here is the thing, is that if we are doing it on our own all the time, if we're trying to figure it out on our own because we're like, I don't want to put my problems on other people, or I'm going to fail anyway, and so I don't want to disappoint others, or I don't want to be disappointed, or I don't want to be called out or judged or shamed or wronged or embarrassed, and we're continuing to try to do it our own way, then we're continuing to just stay stuck in our own strategies, our own thoughts, our own sabotage patterns. And so the first time we hit that first roadblock, right? That first time we get sick, or that first time we sabotage, we have a binge, or that first time we don't do the perfect thing that we think that we're supposed to do, if we're stuck in our own, just trying to figure it out all on our own, then we can't move on. We get completely thwarted at that point. We get completely stuck at that point, and we don't know how to get out of that point. And that is why so many people feel like it's not possible, because they're trying to figure it out on their own. They're getting stuck in their own pattern. They don't know what to do differently. And then it's like, oh, well then what is the next diet or the next quick fix, or, the next self-help book, and let me go try to do that. And then you run out of motivation, run out of steam, because you're trying to you're trying to cultivate all of this, you're trying to be your own cheerleader while you're also in the process getting into your own stuff. It's exhausting and it doesn't work. And so, hey, Beverly, I'm so glad that you're here. And so here's the thing, is that we've got to be willing to ask for help. We've got to be willing. And here's the beautiful thing about asking for help is that it actually has, it forces you. This is why it's such a powerful thing. It's not just asking for help because you actually need to learn new tools and new strategies and a whole new system and a whole new solution for what it actually takes to be free. But asking for help, the very act of asking for help, there is something, I call it the alchemy of the ask. There is something that is so potent and catalyzing about asking because it puts you in a place of, gosh, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And maybe the solution lies outside of what I've been doing, what my current strategy has been. And maybe I don't know what I need. And it has us start to get humble. And humility is one of the most potent, underrated, valuable, like ninja spiritual qualities that you can have. Humility is not, being humiliated, right? It's not thinking you're a piece of nothing, right? It's not any of that stuff. Like being humble is like, I'm willing to be where I'm at. I'm willing to not know. It has you embodying being willing to step out of control. If you aren't sure how to stop being the controlling person that you are, if you don't know what to do differently, then start asking for help, because asking for help will automatically put you in this place of, oh, I'm not in the driver's seat. Oh, I'm actually feeling like there's a way that lies outside of what I'm going to actually figure out here in my mind. It has you start to embody these things. It has you start to get vulnerable, and vulnerability is uncomfortable. And so it has you embodying taking aligned action even though you are uncomfortable. It has you practicing a new strategy and a new tool. It has you doing all of the things, and it has you absolutely trying on this mindset of freedom, of what is possible, of being willing. And so just the act of asking for help is already putting you on that path of freedom, because it has you have to embody the very qualities that are required for you to truly be free. And so, thank you, Heather. So good to see you, sister. And so this is the stuff. This is the stuff. Stop trying to do all the things that you think that you're supposed to do. I get messages from people all day long, and they're like, I think I'm doing good. No, I think I have it under control right now, and I'm sticking to this plan, this diet, and I think it's working. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to rain on your parade, but just let's talk in a couple weeks, because I know how it is. You know how it is. So all I'm saying is that if you are sick and tired of wandering around in your own desert, lost, and you don't want to do it for another 40 years, then I invite you to take some bold, aligned action right now. And even if it scares the crap out of you, I invite you to schedule some time with me on a call. And let's just, in 15 minutes, let's just get laser focused on exactly what you need to do right away to get on your path of freedom. I'm so happy to help you with that, because in fact, I want to help you with that. Because if you're listening to this, then I know that you're ready. And if you're listening to this, then I know that it's so much bigger than you just trying to figure this out because you want a bikini body. Like this is so much bigger. This is about you feeling lighter, being more authentically you being able to be out in the world and just be comfortable in your own skin, you being able to be present and connected with the people in your life, you being able to feel like you are actually living your life and not just going through the motions or preparing for your life that you're not living. Like that is what this is all about. It's not just, I want to look cute in the bikini. I know that that's not your game. I know it. You wouldn't be listening to this. You would not be attracted to my message. You wouldn't be attracted to being here right now. So if you're listening to this right now, then I want you to know that it is so possible for you. And if you are willing to take that bold, aligned action, Tara will speak into it. She took that bold, aligned action. Pam spoke into it. Hey, Eva. Aw, so good to see you, my love. Like, this is absolutely possible, and I would love to help you. Okay, I will get off of my soapbox right now. I'm sending you so much love for today. I hope you're enjoying your day after Independence Day if you are in the United States. If you're not in the United States, I hope you are enjoying your Friday or your Saturday if you are in Australia or New Zealand. And again, loving you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Mwah.